Hello, friends. Hello, family. Good evening. You are welcome to another session of Illuminate. It's my pleasure to welcome you again. And Happy New Year, at least for the people that didn't join us last week when we did the first one for the year. And by the way, the one for last week was really impactful. So we talked about how to sustain your enthusiasm in 2024. I want to encourage that you go and check that out. So yeah, as we start right now, take the link, share with as many people as possible. It's going to really help them. So this is Illuminate, so where we give answers to the question in people's heart and the question that they have shared with us, so that it could be a blessing to as many people that have the questions, that know it or don't know it, but as we answer it is a blessing to them. So we give clarity, we give direction, healing from hurt, and wisdom for practical living. So as we go into today's own, we just want to talk about another thing that is very important even in this year 2024. And we want to talk about life skills. So what are the life skills that are critical, that are important for us in year 2024? So first and foremost, one of the things that I've seen and we have seen is that, and I don't know if you have also noticed that, it's not the most intelligent people or the smartest people that excel or that make it in life. Have you not noticed that some people get headway and they progress in life and some others don't? So smart is important, smart is good, but smart is just one part of that which is required for people to succeed rather, and to make progress in life, in whatever endeavor, in your career, in your profession, in your family, in relationship, or whatever it is that you're handling. So in addition to being smart or being intelligent, it's also critical for us to develop what they call life skills. And sometimes these life skills can be behavioral or they can be psychological in nature. So what is life skill? So life skill is just a set of competencies that an individual has, and that competencies help them to be able to deal with the activities and the challenges that we face in our day-to-day life. And we need to be able to handle them effectively, and that's why we need life skill. So if these life skills are learned and then they are developed, they ensure that they improve us. They get us in a place where we are equipped, and then through them we can respond better in our daily interactions, in professional life, in our career, in our emotions, and also in the circumstances that arise in our changing world. So it's important that we deal with life skills, and more so, irrespective of the environment you find yourself, irrespective of the culture, of the position, irrespective of all of these things, one thing life skills guarantees is that it helps you to be adaptive to whatever comes. So, and also depending on where you find yourself, on the situation you find yourself, the order of importance of the life skill can also vary. I'll give you a typical example. So think about somebody that is in a corporate environment where what is big is performance, is result. In that kind of environment, the life skill that comes to bear is execution. You must just be able to execute, be able to excel, irrespective of every other thing. I just want to excel at whatever cost, because that is what my KPI is based on, or what they are checking me on. But imagine the same person, or another scenario of somebody that's an entrepreneur. It's not just about you driving people to achieve the goal. The well-being of the staff is also important. So which means you must have empathy. You must be able to step into their shoes, understand what is going on, how everything is going. Have that togetherness, that team bonding, that team level, that team spirit. Because when the chips are down, is this life skill of being having empathy and all that will come to bear when people feel okay, we are in a phase, then let's do this together. But imagine you are just driving them all because you are paying them. They will be disconnected. Do you understand? It comes to bear. And think about it again. You are in a relationship. Imagine a marriage relationship, for example. So you are there. You are in a corporate environment. You are driven. You are in a business environment, and or you are an entrepreneur, and then you are dealing with the legal arrangement. You are dealing with a lot of other things that some other people are not dealing with. If you're in your home, you can't be driving your wife or driving your husband. You guys know a KPI. So which means you must be in touch. You must have tolerance. You must be able to understand and be in touch with your partner. Do you understand? So which means that life skill is critical across every area of our life. And depending on where you find yourself, the order of importance can change. Do you understand? It can change. In your home, you can't be driving your partner. At the place of work, you can't be all just merely nice without ensuring that you are delivering. Otherwise, they're going to chase you out. Do you understand? As an entrepreneur, you can't be driving people and not really be in touch and have genuine interest in their life and in their progress. Because if they don't feel that they will have career, progression with you, they might leave you. If they don't feel like, oh, you are in touch with what matters to them too, they'll be worried and be concerned that, oh, maybe I want to find somewhere else. Do you understand? So life skills such as empathy, such as communication in marriage, such as being able to execute. You see that they have interplayed themselves in all of these different examples I've given. But one may come above the other depending on the situation. So it doesn't matter where you find yourself. Life skill will ensure that you are adaptive, you are malleable, you are flexible, you are elastic to be able to ensure that, oh, this situation I found myself. So why life skills? Why is life skill important? So life skill is essential because they help to equip us, to give us the necessary tools, the necessary capabilities that are essential and required to deal with the complexities that we experience on a day-to-day basis. So let's take a typical example now. Look at us, for example, in a country like Nigeria, and as is the case with a lot of companies across the world. For us in Nigeria here, there's the speculation that the cost of gas is about to double. So think about that. That would definitely have a ripple effect on businesses, which would also affect staff, it will affect cost of living and all of that. So it's really critical for us to develop these life skills because they are the foundation on which we must deal with all the challenges that will happen in our lives. So they will help us be able to solve problems, decision making, it can be in a situation of managing your finances, communication, or whatnot. So it is essential and critical so that we can thrive and we can adapt irrespective of the circumstances that arise. So because you will be in situations where you will need to be able to be resilient. You need to be able to go through things. You might have to go through it independently. Do you understand? So these things are key, not just for us to be successful in life, but also for our health and for our well-being. So having said that, let's list a couple of life skills that are required for us to excel and succeed in 2024. I will start with the first one, communication. Hmm. This is very important. You this communication matter is a big deal because largely, as especially if you don't have speech impediment, you're not born with speech impediment. We largely grew up talking, blabbing when we're young, and then growing up and all of that. And it will surprise you to know that most times, because we've done it practically since when we're born up until now, we think that we have communicated effectively just because we spoke verbally or we just said stuff. And that has been a big issue for most people. I said it now, I mentioned it, and they understand. It's just amazing that communication has been said to be one of the, biggest source of stress in human interaction. It's amazing. You hear a situation where employer having issues with staff cannot get along with employer, politician can't get along with the masses or the citizens, citizens can't get along with with the politician, Husband can't get along with wife, husband, neighbors, people in the community, and all of those kind of things. Country, not cannot get along with another country, you know, all those things happening and all of that. So communication has been one of the greatest source of stress, which means it's critical for us to understand and be able to communicate effectively. Do you know that when it comes to communication, 7% of communication has been said statistically to just be mode of communication? So the mode of communication that is verbal is just 7%. So when it comes to communication, communication is largely in two parts, is verbal and non-verbal. Do you know that just 7% is verbal? 7%. So it means 93% is non-verbal. And then that means you communicate more non-verbally than you communicate verbally when you are having a conversation. Isn't that surprising? Think about it. So which means that if what most people know how to do is just to communicate verbally, they may not be saying what they think they are saying, and they may be saying what they don't know they are saying. That's what it means. Think about it. That's amazing. So it is said that 7% of communication is verbal, 38% is non-verbal in terms of the tone of voice in which you used to say the thing. The tone of voice. Then 55% is body language. Wow. So which means when you're having a conversation, your body language is saying more than you are saying verbally. Your tone of voice is saying more than you are saying verbally. Amazing. So it's saying more than what is said. Amazing. Just amazing. So communication is key and is critical. It is also said in communication that a good part or a large part of communication is listening. Think about that. So, which means when you are communicating, listening is one of the most effective way to communicate, because how can I even communicate when I don't even understand the circumstance in the first place? So which means it's important for me to listen to understand. So when you are communicating effectively, it's important for me to first listen to understand than seeking to be understood. Seeking to be understood is not bad. Don't think, oh, don't they want me to be understood and are they going to marginalize me and all that? No, we're even saying that speaking to be understood is better when you even understand the situation first. So when you understand, you can now say, okay, oh, I haven't understood this. So this is my perspective. This is my, position, or this is the perspective from which I'm speaking from. Then it becomes better. It's also important to know that the reason why some people don't have effective communication is because they are only listening to respond. This one is a big deal. People listen just to respond. They don't understand what is being said. Do you understand? So communication is big. So in communication, we need to be able to understand active listening, since it's a big part of communication. So I must be able to listen to understand first. So that even what I'm saying, there's a premise for it. Oh, is now, you won't even waste your time. You'll be able to know, oh, that means this is where they are coming from. So on this basis, I would rather come like this. I'd rather communicate like this. I think that's important. Interpersonal communication is very critical. You know, um, Presentation skill is also very important when you are communicating. Then also public speaking. This is important. Do you know that your perception goes up when you are able to articulate and communicate what you are trying to say effectively and properly? Yeah, people can they just perceive you to feel, oh, you know what you're doing, you know what you're saying, because you're able to communicate well. I think that's important. Also, writing skills. I think this is critical. Critical. People have had a lot of issues just by exchange of mails. I'm telling you. Or is it WhatsApp messages, where we exchange WhatsApp messages and people are currently keeping malice? People are fighting each other. People are struggling, to even get along because somebody, interpreted what somebody said in a different way. The other person too felt, oh, this is what I'm saying, this is not what I'm saying. And that has caused a lot of problems, even in your career or in your corporate environment. I send this mail, oh, the tone is harsh, is soft, all those things. So we have to learn it if we want to really get along in 2024 and beyond. Is a life skill that's important. Communication, effective communication. The next thing I want to talk about in life skill is resilience. Resilience. This is very critical. as a life skill to have. It is very critical because sometimes that's the only thing you would have. And this is the ability to be able to stay in there, to have that staying power, that staying power just to stay there. And not just only staying power, even ability to bounce back, having gone through an adversity, a challenge, or a difficult situation, as it were, just to be able to bounce back from that or to stay and to be able to, stay through and keep through. And sometimes it's just that you know, being able to stay extra emotionally, mentally, and even in some cases physically, just to stay there, to be able to get the thing that you desire. That's important because in this, for you to be able to stay resilient, it also means that we have to be able to interpret failure rightly. You need to be able to see failure as an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn, opportunity to develop capability so that we can stay there and be motivated. In fact, sometimes it's in this position, on this situation, that the potentials we never knew we had comes out. I'm telling you, sometimes it's where you've come to the end of yourself, you've tried all you know to do, and you're just staying there, and some possibility will just start to come. So it's that ability to deal and manage the stress, the emotion. It's important. I give you a typical example. I had, a couple of entrepreneurs close and far that during the COVID, the option that was staring them in the eyes was just to pack up, just throw in the towel and go. But some people just stayed and they were able to experience that bounce back. So, and if you are find yourself in that kind of a situation and all that, that extra push, that extra stay can be what will get you through it. Because sometimes that's the only option you would have. Is that how you throw in the towel or you stay? You stay. That's important. So when we're able to stay and we keep in there, talking to people too that, oh, they're able to get around it. This is not the time to talk about people that just say, oh, they just give in easily, or just let it go. You want to see, oh, let me just stay there, stay in there. And some people have come out, they have bounced back, and they are much better now. So sometimes that's all we have. Or for example, for somebody that's looking for the fruit of the womb, you have believed God, you have prayed, you have held on to the word of God, and you're thinking, man, I just want to throw in the towel and just let it go. And sometimes that's all you have, just to stay there and hang in there. Hang in there. I had a testimony of somebody just recently, I think a couple of days ago. This woman, she's 51-year old. Think about it. She's 51 years old. And she had quadruplets. She had four children, three girls, one boy, quadruplets. As in, that was amazing. And to think that she had waited for 25 years, I'm like, wow, 25 years. What kept you going? That's another story of Sarah in the Bible. What kept you going? 25 years. That's practically maybe when she was 26 or 25. She had been waiting and waiting, and then she kept trying. Sometimes that's all you have, just to stay in there. And it's a life skill that is important for us to have, even as we go into 2024 and beyond. So the next one we'll talk about now is decision making. Decision making. Decision making is another very important, a life skill to have. So, and it can be defined as identifying and choosing from, multiple alternatives. So where you can choose from multiple alternatives and multiple options. So we must be able to make effective decision making. Decision, they say, determines destiny. So your decision determines your destiny. So it's important for us to take into consideration, what are the multiple options available to us so that we can make quality decision. So it's also the quality of being able, to decide what you want to do and not second guess yourself, irrespective of the doubt and surrounding circumstances around you. So that's also very important. So you take into consideration quality information so that you can make the best judgment call. Very key, very important. So we employ, problem solving skills. We're able to improvise, creative thinking, making something out of nothing, even as we make those decisions. I think they are very key. The next one I will talk about in the life skill that is needed is teamwork, cooperation, team play. I think this is key. This is also important. One is not enough to achieve significance. It takes more than one. Like they say, to tango, it takes two to tango. So we need people, we need a team to be able to achieve anything significant. A team, which means that when we engage and interact with this team, we must respect that people can have differing opinion. Do you understand? People can have differing opinion, and then we still be able to work with them. We still be able to cooperate with them, and then we are still able to, work together. So it's also important that we take into consideration empathy. So we put ourselves in people's shoes. People have different experiences, background, exposure. So it only means that they would engage things differently. And variety, they say, is makes life beautiful. So variety makes life cool, makes life beautiful. And sometimes having people's different varying opinion can give us a robust basis for making a decision, which is always very great. So teamwork, cooperation, team play, team, collaboration is very critical and is a life skill that we need. And we take the feedback, understanding that people can have varying opinion, and it's very, very cool and it's good. Then the next one about this life skill that we must have for 2024 is ability to take constructive feedback. I think this is very important, where we can receive feedback, constructive criticism, and take it well, understanding that, when people are giving us feedback, yeah, some people can attack and they can speak to people. So, which means we have that responsibility to look at things objectively. We must be able to take the feedback. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's fine. I'll work on it. To be honest, a lot of the time or sometimes it's painful, because who doesn't like, compliment anyway? Who doesn't like compliments? Everybody like compliments, So, but when they give you that, it can be painful. But it would be nice when we can develop that tenacity, that wherewithal to be able to receive it and work with it, objectively, and take constructive criticism and handle it objectively, and not begin to turn it to, you know, a place where sometimes you have a situation where people begin to wear other people's feedback, and it affects their self-esteem. So let's talk about examples of accepting constructive feedback, and then where you don't take it personal. They are just feedback, and then you don't take it personal. So I'll give an example of so think about, you are doing a product or you have a service that you render, and then you put a system out there where people can give feedback. So take an example of where you have a contrasting feedback. So you ask one client or one customer, and the customer tells you to say that, oh, fantastic, you did very well, it's the best I've ever experienced, and all that. And then you have this other customer where the customer is telling you, it's very shabby, it's bad, it's terrible. You can be in a fix. And usually, like anybody, you might want to tilt towards the person that encouraged or that spoke well of what you were doing. And then you might be thinking, oh, the other person, why is the person speaking that way? Is the person hating? But usually, in that kind of situation, the best thing is, how can I have developed the life skill where I can step back constructively? Even though it might be painful, it might not be what you like, but that feedback are critical and important for you to take your product or your service to the next level. So, which means we must be able to look at it objectively as much as we can, irrespective of how they make us feel. So, the other person could perhaps be psyching your ego, or and the person could be true. This other person too could be true, or the person perhaps just could be hating. So we need to be able to look at that, take that constructive feedback, criticism, and not take it personal. Because in order to be able to take what we are doing to the next level, it's critical that we look at things objectively. Or see another example now. So this is people in a relationship. So I believe that people in a relationship, you should have that, safe and honest time of conversation with your partner, where you can have a conversation to say, okay, what do you think I can improve in this relationship? What do you think I can improve in our marriage? And then the partner can tell you, oh, okay, this is what I think, this is what I feel, I know. But you have to be careful to ensure that maybe after then, another time, you guys got into a conflict or you have a disagreement. Don't go and raise it as a point of concern. That's how you said this. That's how you mentioned this. That I'm not doing this well and all that. What you'll be doing without knowing is you might be damaging the person. You might be getting the person in a place where the person is not comfortable anymore to share with you honestly, because he felt like you didn't take that feedback well. So we must be able to take feedback. It's critical. It's important. It will surprise you to even know on your gadgets, on your equipment or your mechanical things that you own. A typical example is your car. So imagine your car, you're driving your car, all of a sudden you start to hear a sound. This happens. Or on the dashboard, something just beeps, an icon beeps that has not been there before. In a place where, like they say, some people don't have good maintenance culture, they just close their eyes to it and they move on. And then you're hearing the sound. All of a sudden, you find yourself in the midst of an highway and the car parks up and you are wondering what happened. It has been given the signs. That is a feedback. So a feedback can even come in a form of something was going a particular way and it changes. Don't assume it just changed. Be interested to know why and how. What happened? So that if there's something I need to respond to, it's important. Or you find yourself in your place of work, in the corporate environment, where all the time my manager, my supervisor just keeps complaining and complaining and complaining. It's easy to mean, oh, or to just follow my manager is mean, my boss is mean. Sometimes you just want to sit back and say, okay, let me just take a second look at this. Could this person be saying something I'm not saying? We have to be able to develop that life skill to take that feedback. Could the person be, or is the person just being overbearing? So we must be. Or let me give the last example. Imagine in your health. I think this happens a lot where people, you're feeling all good, all fine, and all of a sudden you're just feeling, say, some headache on some side of your head, and then it persists, or you just feel a sharp pain, and after a while it goes, and you feel maybe it's just something, and you go on. And little did such a person know that something is calling your attention. Go and do a medical checkup. Speak to a medical person. Speak to your doctor, to your nurse, or whoever you have as a medical person, and the person can easily tell you, oh, check this, do this, oh, rest well, and all. Because we found cases where people are now nursing health conditions that they ought not to even have in the first place. Because when the feedback came, they didn't take it. They just felt it was just a sharp pain. That's how I feel. It's nothing. It's this. Go and check. There's this popular saying that people say, and it usually have their consequence when they say ignorance is bliss. Is ignorance really bliss? In this context, it's not. Particularly what affects you and is important to your life, it's not. It's not. So we need to really check this. If you have those feedback, particularly one that affects your life, affects something important to you, don't want to just say I want to be ignorant about it. In some situations, it's fine, you can be ignorant, but if it affects you directly, you want to know so that you can respond accurately and timely. Timely, very important. Timely. I hope that helps. All right, then. So let's talk about the next life skill that we need to have is time management. This is very essential. Time management is essential for you to stay, self-disciplined in whatever task you find yourself doing so that you can achieve your goals and you can achieve your timelines. Time management, very important. You know why it's important? We're in a world where every day and increasingly we are having a lot of, challenges, or things are coming up, things are springing up, responsibilities are coming, and demands just keep coming and coming. So we need to be able to manage our time well. So that time management, we require that we are self-disciplined, we stay on the task until we get to the end of it, and all of that is an essential thing. If you don't have it, you realize that you would always be under pressure. You'll always be on the edge, and it's going to affect your health, affect your life, even a situation where you will not have time for family, have time for friends, and the things that matter to you. So when it comes to time management, you can use a couple of things. You could have a sticky note, for example. Imagine you have a sticky note and then you just write your to do. You have your to do. Or you could just, for example, just have an accountable partner or accountability partner. That kind of person can really help you to be accountable. Or lastly, you could also just use digital application or technology. I think there are a couple of things out there that can help you manage yourself, manage your time, and all that. Then that brings me to the next and very important life skill that you must have in 2024. That last example, which is you must have some level of technical and digital literacy. It's important. It's important that you have technical and digital literacy, at least to a level, to a degree. This is key, because if you don't have that, you might miss out on a lot of opportunity. A typical example, you started your business and then you're doing what you do, and you want to put out your stuff on social media. Some people are still, in a situation where we have to post every day, have to do this. There's a tool that can just help you schedule your post, and that can save you a lot of time. I'm telling you, it can save you a lot of time. It can think about it. Or it can just be the fact that, oh, I identify whatever digital technology in my space, in my field, and I want to be able to be up to speed with the one that, as that is most recent. It's important. Those things can be a differentiating factor in either you have a great 2024 or not. So it is a life skill that we must have some level of technology and digital literacy. This is critical. It's critical. So ensure that if you don't know one or two things, engage somebody. It will surprise you to know how much your phone can do. Through your phone, you can do a lot. You can post, you can share, you can do even content. You can even do live experience or live video of, look at me in the market, look at me in engagement, look at me in this, in this conference meeting, or look at me in, all behind the scene of what you are doing. And that can even give some legitimacy and authenticity to what you're doing. So all those things are important. They're important. When you can just do a selfie or a self video and just speak to something, those things can make a lot of difference. Or sometimes you have those eureka moments when an idea just comes to you and all that. You can just take your phone and record, do a voice recording. And all, because if you don't do it, then you would forget. Can you imagine? So you see that all those things are critical, and something that you picked up in a moment can be what will change the trajectory of what you are doing. So technology and some level of digital literacy is a must, at least at the barest minimum, is a must. So I think the next life skill that I want to go to is being self-aware. Being self-aware. As you begin to have all these life skill, what usually happen is from time to time you'll be having some self-reflection, what you are thinking on about yourself and all that. And if you cannot have that self-assessment, that self-awareness in an healthy way, it will surprise you that you begin to take your estimation from things, from circumstances, from situation, and that is not good. So which means we need to be able to assess ourselves effectively, adequately, not based on things, not based on happenstance, not based on circumstances. You get, we're not a being of circumstance. We are a people that were supposed to create changes, add solutions, be creative, be a solution provider and wherever we find ourselves. So which means even though there might be some setback, the setback doesn't define me. Do you understand what I'm saying? The setback doesn't. I am who I am. I am not the thing. I am not the business. I'm not the job. I'm not the event. I'm not the event or the situation or circumstance that just happened. It's just a thing that happened. I'm me. And from me will come out more value, more things. So being able to be self-aware and in an healthy manner so that we can have a good self-esteem, good self-estimation of ourselves, and then we can have a good self-worth when we see ourselves in the right context, in the right way. We measure ourselves rightly. I think this is important. You must have it because you go through different twists and turns in life, and it will become critical on how you judge yourself, how you assess yourself. You must learn to extend some grace to yourself. You are trying, you are doing the best you know to do, and you must extend some level of grace. Yeah, I know I need to do better. We always need to do better. It's always that next achievement, that next goal, that next, milestone and all of that. But I tell you, you are trying. You are giving your best. The fact that you're watching this means you want to improve yourself. So you are trying. So, but extend some level of grace to yourself. Assess yourself accordingly, rightly, and then ensure that you're able to take baby steps from where you are. Okay, if this is where I am and all that. I have a good assessment of that. Then I take it to the next level. I hope that helps. And I think the last life skill that I will just speak to, which I think haven't said all, is very critical and important, is what I would call execution. Hmm. Execution. Execution is the ability to implement all your ideas, all your plans, all the background work that you have done so far. in order to be able to bring it to action, put it to work, put it to use. If you don't execute, it's as good as you are just building a house on a castle. Like you're just building castle in the air, pardon me. You're just building castle in the air. You're just building a house, you're building a castle in the air. Because execution is critical. And I tell you something, this is usually the differentiating factor from a lot of people. I even heard something some time ago that managers, people that are maybe going up in their career line or their career path, and in their businesses, or getting into new terrain or new opportunities, usually the differentiating factor is execution. Some people can analyze, plan, strategize, and then it leads to paralysis instead of leading to action, taking that action, bringing to bear all you have been planning. All you have been planning. It's very important. So I haven't said all of this. I haven't said all of this. I want to come to how then can we maximize or develop all of these life skills? How? We've talked about execution, doing, and all that. Just do it. Like Nike, do it. Just do it. So how then can we do this? One thing that I've seen from experience is that you can learn all you know about life skill theoretically. You can read about life skill, but beyond reading about a life skill, there's nothing like putting yourself in a situation that guarantees you practicing it. Nothing help you develop skill, strength more than practice. You must engage. You must engage. I tell people generally, the people that I lead, I have the privilege to mentor, to coach, to train. I tell them, one of the things that I've learned in life is that the key to greatness is service. You might not know a lot of things, but you find yourself in a place where maybe you are an apprentice, you are serving, you are engaging. In engagement, would you'll be able to easily pick up all of the life skill that you require. I'm telling you, is one way. See, you can read as much as you know, you can hear a lot, you can do this, but without being in a situation that avail you opportunity for expression, you would not see anything. I'm telling you, the growth will be very little. You won't be able to gain the traction, the mileage that you require. When you engage, I tell people this, that vision is important. Vision is good. You must have a vision. But even somebody that doesn't have a vision, if the person is faithfully engaging and serving somewhere, in time, the person can pick up a vision. They can develop a vision for their life as they engage, as they apply, as they, get involved, participate. That can happen. So the biggest way to be able to develop life skill is engagement, is participating, is practice, is practice. That is when other things that, other ways in which you can, which one of these with maybe having a coach, that is when all of the things the coach is telling you can even come to bear. You must practice. You must practice. You can start poorly, but you cannot even improve what you have not started in the first place. So you must participate. You must practice, 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 practice. Stay there, stay doing it. They are, like they generally say, an idle hand is the devil's workshop, like they say. If you're idle, you can't improve, you can't grow, you can't proceed, you cannot progress, you can't. So you must participate. So I want to encourage anybody, irrespective of where you are, never stay idle. Never stay idle. Participate. Find something doing. Join somewhere for free. I tell you something, you are not just going to be there and not pick anything. You will pick interpersonal relationship. You will pick how to work with a team. You can't just learn how to work with them by reading a book. You must actually be there. Let them offend you. Let them get on your nerves. Let things go south. And then that's where you will now need to exercise staying power. That's where you need to exercise. Oh, okay, I need to learn this skill. That's when, oh, I need to know how to use technology by watching other people use it to achieve the engagement that you guys are doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? You'll be able to make decisions. When you see how that somebody made a decision and he took what you were doing or the team you're a part of, he took it forward or he took it backward. You understand the power of decision making and how that you need to make use of a lot of information, check all the possibilities and all the possible outcomes before you go ahead and just jump at this. A child, they say, will just act emotionally and just do things because they don't understand the power of implication. But somebody that engages, that understands that things have consequences, that such a person is the person that is worthy of doing something with. I heard somebody say something, some time ago, and I processed and I saw that, oh, I think this is really true. He said there are some things in his life that he will never do with somebody that has never failed before. What that person is saying in essence is that I want to ensure that somebody has engaged something practically and the person has fallen short one, two, three times. That way, the person has received some life skill, some life lessons that will stay with the person to the rest of their life. And it will also come to bear in whatever else they're handling. So, what they are saying in essence is I don't want to deal with a rookie. I don't want to deal with somebody that is doesn't have any experience. Think about it. Even when somebody is trying to employ somebody, they want to ask, what's your experience? Where have you been? Have you failed before? Even when they want to give you funds, they ask, put it in your pitch. Put some of the business you have done that has failed before. What are they looking for? It's not because they're just looking for your failure. They want to see, have you engaged? Or you are just fascinating. So application, engagement is the how. So irrespective of where you are, start today, engage today, participate today. I don't have a job, engage somewhere. I've never done a business before, start something, start to sell something. Okay, buy and sell before you even start to produce your own. And then you will surprise you how much you will pick in that. I believe, with all of this that we have shared, it's been a blessing to you. It's been a blessing to you. Thank you so much for staying true. Expect more of this, even in the course of the year. And I want to encourage that you give us your feedback. We too we like feedback. So share your feedback. Let us know topics that you like us to talk about. Let us know the things that are, pressing in your heart, burning in your heart, or things you just need to know more about. So if you have questions, you have things you want us to talk about, and all of that, so please just share with us. Thank you so much. This is Illuminate again. My name is Debola Laba. I'm the lead pastor of Love Network Global Ministry. It's our privilege to serve you. Thank you for giving us your time to learn, to share together, to, do it. It's going to be a glorious year, for us all. And that's why we're doing this, because we know in anticipation that it's going to be a glorious year for you. So use all of this, give us your feedback. Let us learn more, from you about you. You can even tell us where you are, watching from, streaming from, and all that. So until next time, next week, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. on all the social media platforms, I look forward to seeing you again. Have a glorious year and God bless you. Bye for now.